and I took Lake City by quote-unquote $1 billion in the play-in game.
On the North Idaho Prepcast, we're all about that North Idaho life.
Man, you talk about Wallace and what they've been able to do this year. Quietly just being, the steady stalwart up north in District 1. They've been dominant.
From Bonners Ferry all the way down to Grangeville, we tackle the biggest stories in North Idaho sports.
This Genesee team is for real. We know we saw it last year. They're I think in the driver's seat to repeat.
It's the North Idaho Prepcast with Ryan Scaggs. That's right. Welcome in. It is the North Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, your weekly stop down of all the District 1 and 2 athletic happenings in the great state of Idaho. My name is Brandon Baney. Let's bring in the guy you heard from in the intro. It's our North Idaho resident and expert, Ryan Scaggs. What's up, Scaggs?
Of all the clips, those are the ones you used too. No, that's actually a pretty cool intro. You caught me off guard. I'm like, I got a window open somewhere playing something, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is, believe it or not, season 4 of the North Idaho Prepcast. We players.
Hey, welcome to the seniors that have been with us the entire time, right?
I was just going to say that players we were talking about as freshmen 3 years ago are now coming into their senior seasons. It's just incredible to think about, for sure. So, Brandon Baney with Ryan Scaggs. We'll introduce ourselves here in the first episode of the new season in just a moment. But yeah, freshened up all of the Prepcast intros during the off season, Ryan. I kind of wanted your just initial reaction. I didn't want you to know it was coming. And so that's how we'll lead in every show. I like it.
I like it. That was pretty effective. You caught me off guard with the 1 in a billion thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's got me in hot water before. So, but
yes,
it's District 3 that got mad, so I could care less.
Yes. So for those that aren't aware, 2 years ago now, the Lake City girls basketball team was playing Eagle in a 5A state tournament play-in game. Lake City was a juggernaut that year. Eagle was okay, above average. But in a one-game situation, all it takes is one good game and one less than stellar game. And so, Ryan, you had predicted that, Lake City, you would take Lake City by $1 billion in that matchup with the Eagle. Eagle won that game. And then when they got to state the next week, they had actually made special warm-up shirts that said 1 in a billion on the back. So you inspired an entire movement with the Eagle girls basketball team.
Yeah, inspired him so much that never mind. I won't go there. I won't take the low blows. The North won the championship that year, so I'll kind of leave that be.
That's right. It's all water under the bridge at this point for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and I do talk to their coach once in a while on Twitter. On X, he'll message me once in a while about stuff, and so I know that we're cool about it. It's fine. Like there's no animosity between me and Eagle Athletics, of all people in the world to have beef with. I think it'd be kind of the most random, forced hatred. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah. So it's not a rivalry.
No, definitely not. All right. So you may be stumbling upon this for the first time, or if you have been a fan in the past, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us throughout the summer as we did a series of off-season interviews from people all around the state, specifically from North Idaho. We interviewed Grangeville girls basketball coach Michelle Barger back in June, and that was a really fun time. But you might be wondering, okay, what is the North Idaho Prepcast? What is the show all about? Well, we're going to hop on here not every week, but pretty close. Between now, we're in basically the first week of August, and we're going to go all the way till the end of the school year, right at the very end of May. And for the most part, we're going to come on here weekly, and we are going to talk about the biggest stories that are happening across the high school sports landscape in both District 1 as well as District 2, because in most of the classifications, Ryan, Districts 1 and 2 all play together in the same conferences anyways.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's all but 2A is pretty much the same conference. So it's 2A and 1A, I should say. So yeah, it's awesome getting to know people just, from the Canadian border all the way down to the breaks of the salmon, making friends across North Idaho. It's been great. And it's kind of funny is that, I can go somewhere in Lewiston and have people kind of give me that eye, like, I know you from somewhere. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm Idaho Sports dude. And like, oh yeah, you guys do a great job. People love us. And that's the cool thing. And it's not like an attaboy for us, because I want to thank the people for, like, the parents, especially, for allowing us to cover their kids. And, I think we talked about it at length and in one of our closing episodes from the last season, but it's a pretty awesome blessing to just be able to talk sports, for an hour or so, or just shy of an hour each week. Just kind of have like a reprieve from all the other madness going on in our world, and be able to just talk about high school athletics and the innocence that's involved with that. It's something rare that isn't really seen in our country and in our world anymore these days. And, it's like, can't we all get back to just hating each other based on pure hatred of rivalry from geographical locations of one town to another? So yeah, that's kind of what we want to get back to. So yeah, I went long-winded there, but, no, something about high school sports is just so awesome and so innocent, because it's, the fandom of people in their town and the communities rallying around these teams and programs and kids is awesome.
Yeah. And, it's specifically the reason why we started this 4 years ago now, was to shine that spotlight on all the incredible young men and women and coaches, even, and athletic directors that are doing incredible work up here in North Idaho. In the podcast space now, it's become very oversaturated. So in the podcast space, you either have to be somebody really famous or like really interesting that people want to hear from. That's not us. Okay. People aren't tuning in to hear what we have to say. They're tuning in to hear who we're talking about. And so that's where we fit into that second bucket, which is you've got to deliver to a target audience and serve an audience that isn't being served. And there was nobody that was coming on each week and talking about the big sports storylines in North Idaho. Our newspapers up here do a tremendous job. Yeah. The Coeur d'Alene Press and the Lewiston Tribune and the Bonner County Daily Bee, and then all the weekly newspapers as well. But there wasn't that audio or video presence where somebody was coming on and kind of chopping it up and breaking down the big stories. And so that's why we decided to do this all those years ago, Ryan. And now here we are in year 4. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I've gotten more handsome as it's gone on, and I really appreciate everybody not giving me the gray hairs and everything. I say that joking, but no, it's been awesome. The thing that we've been at this for 4 years, our 4th year now, going into it, is pretty incredible. And the runs that we've seen from respective teams and towns and coaches and kids, and it's like something we knew going in, 4 years or this 3 seasons ago now, but like. Was like, oh, Kendrick's really good in football. And then things that continue is that this year we're looking at it again of Kendrick's really good in football, and Coeur d'Alene and girls basketball, and then all these other things of these teams, Coeur d'Alene cross country, and, North Idaho small school baseball. Like there's just things that year in and year out, things that you're known for then are still true now. And it's been awesome to just be able to follow that and kind of walk hand in hand with the kids and the teams as they grow. And we've seen some tragedies, we've seen some triumphs, and it's been really neat to see respective schools and towns respond, to either struggles or to, Bonners Ferry getting their first state championship last year in boys basketball. Like those are awesome and things that we get to celebrate along with the town. We're just lucky to be the bystander to it and give it a voice.
Yeah, communities that I personally have developed an affinity for just by talking to parents or coaches, St. Mary's, Kendrick, Bonners Ferry, Potlatch. Those are the ones that kind of come to the top of my mind just in what we've covered over the past several years. So we are going to come on once a week. We're going to try to do it same day, same time every week, because we do these live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Twitter account. So we're going to try and have a consistent presence. So, every day at this time or each, day at this time, you can tune in and catch the North Idaho Prepcast. But if you're not able to be with us live, that's totally okay. You can always watch this on replay at the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, or Twitter account. You can also listen to this podcast at IdahoSports.com across the top of the homepage. We've got all sorts of tabs, game streams and schedules and scoreboards. And there's a tab that says Prepcast. From there's a drop-down menu. You click on the North Idaho Prepcast, and there is an embedded audio player on that webpage. So you can listen while you're sitting at work on your computer. Or if you want to take it on the go, you can subscribe and download the North Idaho Prepcast wherever you subscribe and download your podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, etc. So there's a lot of different ways to consume the North Idaho Prepcast each and every week. But now let's talk about us just for a second, because what qualifies us to cover North Idaho athletics? Well, we both work for IdahoSports.com, but that's a low bar to clear. But just kidding.
I'll tell Paul.
Right. Now, Paul's watching this. There's no doubt about that. We both live in North Idaho, though. You definitely more established than me. So I'll just quickly, I'm Brandon Baney. Hello. I'm the managing editor at IdahoSports.com. I grew up in Montana, Western Montana, so really not that far from North Idaho. I came to North Idaho every summer as a kid. We'd go to Silverwood. Sometimes we'd go through and go to Seattle and catch a Mariners game in the summer. So I'm very familiar with North Idaho. I've always loved it up here. My wife and I have always wanted to settle down here. And last summer, we finally had the opportunity to purchase our forever home. And so we're here to stay, North Idaho. You're not shaking us. We live in the Coeur d'Alene community, and we absolutely love it up here. We're close enough to our parents and family over in Missoula, and yet still far away that there's a little bit of a buffer if anyone's going to come in and drop in and visit.
You don't get the random hey, 3 p.m. Hey, we're coming over. Save a spot at dinner for us.
Exactly right. Before Coeur d'Alene, I lived in Pocatello over in East Idaho for 5 years. Before that, I lived in Wyoming and Nebraska and all over as I was chasing that dream of being an ESPN broadcaster. But then, of course, you meet a girl, you fall in love, your priorities in life change, right? I settled down in Idaho with my wonderful wife, and we've loved it ever since. In terms of my career, I worked in radio. I was a radio broadcaster for a really long time, and then this opportunity opened up where I'm still broadcasting, but doing a lot of stuff on the website at IdahoSports.com as well. And that is my very boring biography, Ryan. And now why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So, what qualifies me? Does anything really qualify anybody? Let's just be honest about that.
Right.
But no, I coached at the high school level for about 15 years throughout the Northwest. So, I've coached and I've had stops at Lakeland, Pullman, Washington, Clarkson, Washington, places like that. So I grew up in the LC Valley. I even had a stint as a District 2 wrestling official when I was in college for like 4 or 5 years too. So, I've got experience that, on the officiant side of it, but yeah, I coached football, wrestling, and tennis of all sports, that's the, super common combination that you always see. But yeah, and I've been in North Idaho since 2015. We moved to Coeur d'Alene. I've got a son and remarried last year, and my wife Abby and my son Owner, typically tagging along to games. It's been really fun to I always coin her as the most attractive and best camera person in the planet, because a lot of times if we're doing a broadcast somewhere, especially during the playoffs, if I'm by myself, Abby's usually the one running the camera. Owen, I've taught him how to run the board, which has been fun. So he's enjoying doing that part, and he's getting his hat in the ring, and he listens. He'll wear the headset, but every once in a while I'll turn his mic on or something just because he wants to say something to me. But no, it's been a great experience getting involved with this, and Idaho Sports has been done such a great job. I met Paul actually when I was coaching at Lakeland. We had a game down at Skyview in Nampa, and I was in the booth as EOC, and Paul was in our booth with us doing the broadcast of the game. And so during timeouts and stuff, him and I would banter back and forth. And I had a background in doing radio as well when I was in college. And so he always said, hey, if you ever hang things up or whatever, give me a call and let me know if you got some availability. We'd love to do some stuff up north. And so fortuitously, that came to be, is that I wanted to be dad more than coach and take care of my own kid rather than 75 others on a roster. And I ended up getting connected with Paul and started with Idaho Sports. We've been doing this 4 years, but it would have been the season prior to that. So I've been doing this. I think this is my 5th year now with Idaho Sports doing stuff. So yeah, it's been awesome though. I've had an absolute blast doing this. We've seen some amazing games. We've met amazing people and kids, and I'm a small business owner here in the Coeur d'Alene community as well, and my business is involved because of Idaho Sports with schools and supporting athletic programs at some of the area high schools, and it's just been really cool and really neat to see things grow and the relationships that are built through this. Just having this mouthpiece has been really neat to see it have an effect even on my kid, which is awesome as a dad, to see the athletes, talk to my son after a game, or, we run into them at the store and they'll say hi to me, and then they'll give my son a high five and stuff like that. Like that, for me as a parent, like that's the coolest part of doing all this. Money, what's there is just a byproduct. Like, I don't care. I do this because I love athletics and I see the value in it. And so that's my kind of 5-minute elevator speech.
No, that was good. That was a good elevator pitch, for sure. You'll have to tell me if you get a special pin or something for being a 5-year employee of IdahoSports.com. You're actually 1 year ahead of me. I only came on four years ago, so you'll have to tell me if you get something for that.
I got a special parking spot out front. Yeah.
Yeah, VIP parking, right, for sure. Yeah, I remember
it gets me a free popcorn at most games. That's the thing that you get for being a 5-year employee.
Yeah, those are the perks of the job.
That's
for
right.
Sure. I do remember last fall, you and I were headed to the Kibbie Dome on a Thursday night to broadcast Kendrick versus Camas County in the state football championship. A game. Spoiler alert: Kendrick won by a lot.
Yeah, I think they just scored again, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, but Owen came along with us, and we had a great time, the three of us. And at the end of the game, he put on the headset and was all ready to talk. And then we gave him the point, and then he just like, "What do I say? What should I say?" I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. That's so funny about him too, is because if you just sit and hang out with him, he won't stop talking. That's all he does, and I don't know where he gets that from. But but you put the spotlight on him, he kind of just like froze and locked up. But I did have him do some ad reads during basketball season, which was fun. So
cool.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
That's awesome for sure. So yeah, that's the lowdown. That's us, and that's like, we might occasionally talk about something going on in our lives, but generally people I don't think are that interested. But we do try to keep it light here on the show. We try to open with a funny anecdote or two, and then we dive into the more serious topics of high school sports in North Idaho. So that's kind of what you can expect. We're just two guys kind of shooting the breeze, talking about high school sports in North Idaho every week.
Yeah, I throw like, Mike Leach-esque commentary on life at times. So yeah, I mean, it's you can take it very seriously here.
You never know when those little nuggets are going to come, so you always have to be ready for us to divert off the path and go into an off-topic discussion. That is for sure. But that's basically an intro to who we are and what we do. And then next week, Ryan will get back into talking high school sports proper. The start of the football, volleyball, cross country. The first sport that officially starts, of course, is golf. 6A, 5A golf in the fall. And then all the other sports follow after that: football, volleyball, soccer, and cross country. And we'll start telling you the kind of the storylines, the teams, the athletes, the coaches that we are keeping an eye on. We always strive for 30 minutes on the show. Sometimes we go over, sometimes we go way over, but that's our goal, is 30 minutes each week.
Yeah. And it's, we've being here, this is our 4th year doing this, is that we've seen just in 4 years a lot of changes. And, there's plenty in front of us this year too, that we've got, from classifications to, you want to go in the weeds in wrestling, like you're going to be talking about new weight classes. Like there's all sorts of stuff that like we're going to be talking about ad nauseum this year, that changes are in the mix, and they're going to continue for the next few years with this new cycle with the IHSAA and new leadership in place. And I see a lot of things for the better taking place. So it's gonna be great to see what comes of it this year, and what the future holds in store for the season.
For sure. And always we're looking for great story ideas too. So if there's an athlete, if there's a team, if there's a coach, if there's something going on that isn't getting the attention, or it isn't getting talked about, and you want us to talk about it, you can always get in contact with us. Our contact info is on the screen. My email address is Brandon@IdahoSports.com. Ryan can be found on X at Idaho Game Night. So you can reach out to either one of us. We always love getting ideas and topics from you, the fans, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
All right. Well, Ryan, we are into August. Enjoy what's left of your precious summer break. And we'll be back next week to start breaking everything down on the regular.
Are we going to start 2-a-days next week? Is that what we're doing?
Oh boy, 2-a-days. I don't have time for that.
Get the 6 a.m. We're going to do a 6 a.m. and a 3 p.m. next week.
I'm definitely a player's coach. I'm going easy on the workouts for sure.
Right. Practice.
That's right. We're talking about practice.
Practice.
Yes. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Season 4 off and running. We'll see you here next week for episode 2 of the 4th season of the North Idaho Prepcast. For Ryan Scaggs, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning in on IdahoSports.com.